Thank you. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, think of this as a discussion, not necessarily a formal training, but a place to just see if you have any questions around anything related to pre-K to second grade assessments. And I will go ahead and unmute you all now, so that way you can feel free to chime in whenever you'd like. Okay, so whenever you're ready, you can unmute and ask your questions.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi.
Okay, hi, golly. My name is Vicki. I am a literacy coach, and I'm working so hard to find this answer. We're doing, well, two things. I don't know how you want to do it. I've got two different things. My kindergarten team kindergarten did not do the, screener at the end of last year, dyslexia screener, right? So this year we have this 20 days to do something. Rumor has it that's when I'm doing our dyslexia screening, or is that when I'm doing reading diagnostic like TPRI? Or
I'll take that one. Yes, your incoming first graders, you need to give your literacy assessment that you usually give for your early reading indicator code through 28006, right? Is that the number? And that is required for a fall submission.
right.
So that's what you have to give within the first 20 days.
So, okay, so we're not doing the dyslexia screener. We're just, okay, great. That's what I thought, but I've heard rumors and from important people. So good.
Please pass that along. The dyslexia screener has to be given by January 31st, just like you always do for first graders. But
right.
When the governor's office gave the waiver, they really wanted to ensure that these kids were screened quickly, because early reading indicator code, we go round and round about this all the time, all of us, and trying to understand it. But the early reading indicator code 2 is a step toward identifying a student that has dyslexia. And it's, if they're behind, then you decide what, with that data, you decide what you want to do for that student, and then that's how you code them in PEEMS.
Okay, good. Can I ask one more question, or? Okay.
Oh yeah, please go ahead.
Because these are the two questions I have been shooting out to anybody that would listen, and I stumbled upon y'all. I listened to your last one, and I was like, okay, I'm asking you. That my last question, well, right now, is we always do TPRI with Tango, so we've always done that. And now with the Kinder screener, the first, the components of TextKia. So my question is, can I just use the first, I think it's 3 or 4 components of TextKia as the screener? And my teachers this year, because of all the news, we're all first year teachers again with remote, can they use the TextKia and TPRI at beginning of the year, TPRI middle, TPRI end? Can they just use the actual screener components at the beginning of the year?
Yes, that's what's required for beginning of the year for Kinder. That is the only requirement. Well, PEEMS is required, like you said, for the dyslexia screener, but the only information, the only data we collect into ECDS is that beginning of the year screener. And you are right that it is the first 3 subtests on the TextKia homepage. It's vocabulary, letter knowledge, and spelling. And then you'll get a composite score, and then CLI Engage is going to enter the composite score into ECDS for your district.
Perfect. That's what I had hoped, but it's gotten so muddy. Okay, those are my questions. I'll do a lot of lists. Oh, yes. And this is, I need to find this. I found it last night and I didn't print it because there was just too much. I was like, I'm just going to wait and ask. So splitting up TextKia is legit. That's what we were all kind of like told, no, you can't do that. So, okay.
Yes, you can do that. And go ahead, Natalie.
So long as you get your literacy components in there, that's fine. It's up to you all if you want to, assess for math, if you want to assess for any other domains. But I would also recommend checking out the CLI website for the Dyslexia training because they do a little bit of differentiating between the literacy screener and the rest of it.
Okay, appreciate that. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to mute and to be a stalker for a little while. Thank you.
Okay.
Now I can spread what the real facts. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. I'm going to go ahead and put this, our website into the chat as well. I will say what you see on it like today and what you will see probably in 2-3 weeks will change. It doesn't necessarily mean the organization of it will change, but that we're adding so much more information to it. And it's not necessarily new guidance. It's just clarifying pieces for you all. So, you know, the calendar that I was just showing on my screen, we have one for kindergarten first. One of them is coming up also for pre-K as well. That is located under the requirements section. And if you scroll down, and it'll always be there, so you can definitely refer people to it if they're getting kind of confused, especially around that 20-day window. You can just click on the first grade calendar and it'll pop up for you. It'll give it to you in calendar form, essentially, and then also in text. So that's really nice to have. Okay, who wants to go next? And then if you're done asking this will just be for everyone. If you're done asking your question, you can mute yourself. That way we know who can come up next. Sharon, do you have a question? No.
No, ma'am, I don't have a question right now. It was basically the same question she just asked, so.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think when we communicate to our teachers, it's important to remind them of the intention behind the 20-day window. And we as educators all know this. It is essentially thinking about, well, okay, if there was no dyslexia screening at the end of kindergarten, then I need to have some really useful immediate information from my incoming first graders. And so you would assess using your literacy assessment. And then sometimes even that will let you know, hey, if they're functioning or if they're performing way below benchmark, what are going to be some of your next steps and how might they even inform the way that you provide a dyslexia screener or what to do with your dyslexia screener results afterwards too.
I think I do have a question. It's probably way off topic, but that's okay. So we have the reading and the dyslexia screeners and all that. Is there anything that's being put out or in the development stages for math for Kinder 1 and 2 as a, you know, a screener or beginning of year assessment other than what's found on the Dyslexia?
So you're asking if there's maybe any other assessment tools available or different components that are required to be assessed for at the beginning of year in kindergarten?
I think I'm looking for, you know, is there any tools that's being created or an assessment piece that's being created that we can use? Because right now it's a lot harder to find something for math than it is to find something for reading that's appropriate.
I see what you mean. Scott, would you have any information about other components that we're looking to assess in the future? I know math we're thinking about right now and sort of, you know, considering, but what do you think, Scott?
Yeah, to my knowledge, we're not developing any assessment tools specifically addressing math right now. I can't say what's going to happen in the future because I honestly do not know. We certainly, and I believe, and I need to go back and look, there may be some, not necessarily recommendations, but potentially some guidance that I've seen previously about some tools that are available. I'll see if I can find anything. And then if I do, I'll bring it back to this meeting.
Math assessment in pre-K, it is required in pre-K as one of your 5 domains, but in K through 2, it is not statutorily required. So that is why we don't share any tools about that. Literacy was what H3 implemented, and the Dyslexia Screener and the early reading code have been in place for a couple of years. Those are the things that are in statute. But Dyslexia does have a math assessment for kinder. M-Class has one, but it's not for free. The district would have to pay for it.
All right. Well, I know I was looking, the circle and then the TX Kia with the alignment with the same basic components, then, we could track that, but it's just, math
Yes.
was what I taught. And so I'm like always looking for something from math.
Yeah, I believe CLI Engage is piloting a first grade instrument this year in hopes of having it available for next year, but whether that actually comes to fruition, I don't know. I don't know where they are on it.
All right. I mean, and the reason mostly not besides the fact that I taught math, that I'm asking about the math is because we have the board goals that we have to set, and they include.
Right.
So I was just trying to find if there was something so that we could include that in our goals.
What do other people use for math that are on this office hours today?
And yeah, just to further that, I believe there's quite a bit of flexibility with respect to which assessment tools you're allowed to use when defining your goals for the sake of the math proficiency plans.
Has anybody had good luck with anything? I mean, with another tool for math?
Well, I think they're outside of TEA's website, there are some generally good lists that exist for high quality pre-K through second grade math curriculums and assessments. And I think if you feel like maybe there's a component missing in TextKia around math that you as a specialist in that area feel as though that's missing, you can absolutely supplement if you'd like. There's no hard rule around math at TEA right now, outside of pre-K. So, yeah.
One other thing, for kindergarten, the first 7 tools that are listed on the commissioner's list for kindergarten, all 7 of those do have a math component. TextKia is the only one that's free, but there are several options that are on the commissioner's list, which could you navigate to that real quick? It's actually, if you go into
I would think it would be under pre-K.
it's in it's in a couple different places. I was just gonna say you can go to educator resources, the page, go to the there you go. So right in the middle there, kindergarten up a little bit left.
Oh,
that's okay. It's the same thing. It's just one's accessible and one isn't. So if you scroll down to the second page or third page, I guess, so you can see which one's there. Oh, I forgot one of them was removed. So the first 6 have math included, just as a reference tool.
Thank you.
We have a question that came in through the chat. My district is just starting, or maybe this is a comment. My district is just starting a new ECE program. I was asked by them to join this webinar by my special education director. My program will be a 3-year for 3-year-olds. Are these screeners for them too? So these definitely are not. This list is for kindergarten. If you want to provide some clarity around what you mean by these screeners, do you mean literacy screeners?
So in pre-K, I'm going to jump in here. For pre-K, the high quality pre-K components are for 4-year-olds in statute. Scott, correct me if I'm wrong. And you can assess 3-year-olds through any of the tools on the pre-K commissioner's list if you want to. But if you have 3- and 4-year-olds combined in a class, for that class to be high quality pre-K, then the 3- and 4-year-olds both need to be assessed. All need to be assessed in those 5 areas. And then that data will be uploaded into ECDS for beginning and end of year.
Yeah, and I would also pay special attention to your research from the list of those tools available to see which ones have I would recommend if you're working in the ECE space, looking at those tools that provide more of a progression-based assessment model rather than something that is, strictly norm reference, because those are, I have found, the most helpful to use with children who have IEPs or specific goals that they need to meet that may not be necessarily at grade level yet.
Right.
And independent of the ECSC aspect of it, the commissioner's list for pre-kindergarten that was referenced earlier, it looks very similar to the kindergarten one we were looking at. The subsequent pages after that. Yeah, so that's just the overview, but if you actually go into the full document, it'll have a breakdown on a lot of different components of each of these assessment tools. And one of the things it'll say on the right in the sort of narrative is what age ranges it's appropriate for. So some of them may be more appropriate for 3-year-olds than others. So if you were to scroll down to one of the specific examples, like one of the specific assessment tools, you can see on the right, it gives a bunch of additional information. And it should provide an age alignment. So there, yeah, I can see it on that one.
There it is.
Age alignment, 3 years to almost 5 years old. And that one is for circle progress monitoring, one that I have used in the past, which I thought was helpful to me as a teacher, although the navigation takes some practice, I would say. What's nice about using this teaching strategies goal with some of your students who have specific goals that they're hoping to meet is that the age alignment is birth through end of 3rd grade. So this really works for those kids who perhaps might not be speaking yet, but are doing things at certain things at an advanced level. So maybe they're working with manipulatives or holding pencils and drawing like a 7 or 8 year old, but they're not speaking, or when they do, it might be something like an 18-month-old. So it's nice to be able to lean on those kind of progression-based tools. That way you can closely monitor what's going on and if there's any regressions in any way. Okay. See if there's any other questions. And again, feel free to unmute yourself if something comes up. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint because we've had a couple of things pop up, and I just wanted to show you guys what they might, just to get you thinking about a couple of things that might be on your mind. So, we've answered the question around 20-day assessment window. We get that one a lot. If there's any questions about dyslexia screening, the list of approved tools and webinars and video trainings either by us or CLI or M-Class or other vendors. We're getting close to about, let's see, almost 3:30. It's 3:23 right now, and since this is a smaller group, I'm going to propose that we end at 3:30 if there isn't a robust discussion going on. But we'll certainly be here until then. Vicki, do you have another question?
I do not. I was just going to say before you logged off, thank you. You have no idea how helpful you were. I probably hounded you via email as well. So thank you. And please keep doing these because I think they're very useful and you've got a loyal listener with me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're glad this is helpful. We felt like this is what was needed, and sometimes, adults are different learners, and I personally feel like sometimes if I get an answer in an email, sometimes I'd rather hear it as a discussion, and it helps me make sense of it. So, and these are just interesting times anyway.
You're totally right. So thank you. And I will spread, the word because we need to hear it from reliable sources. So thank you.
Absolutely. You guys feel free to tell, it's not just for the ESCs, it's for LEAs, it's for individual teachers. It can even be for families. Whatever questions you have around assessment, we're here to help you. And it looks like, Pam, do you have another question? I have unmuted you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Thank you guys for doing this. It's been confusing and a crazy start to the year. So I appreciate it very much. It's hard being the lone wolf in a district trying to figure out the ins and outs, and I just appreciate you guys so much. So just to verify, if we are writing a waiver for the kindergarten reading assessment piece, the inventory, we can continue to use what we used last year, correct? Okay. I thought
That's correct.
so. Just wanted to make sure. So that's what we've chosen to do for this year, just because of the pandemic and trying to get teachers to do one more thing when they're trying to figure out how to be online educators. So thank you for that option. And that was really it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and as long as that tool that you all are using, I'm assuming it's going to be already approved by, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, if it's a district level committee, I believe I have
That's
the
for
link.
first and second grade.
Now, for the kindergarten waiver, it has to be by the board. It has to be approved by the board.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
And that's
So
what
it
we
has to
did.
be approved by them, Pam, but it probably already is because you used it last year.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, and we have some, ways to get in touch with us. If you're anything like me, you will think of a question way later. So you can always email us at earlychildhoodeducation@ta.texas.gov, as well as ECDS, and that's really for data submission related inquiries. Like I said, our website is, we're aiming for it to be as robust as possible, but it takes time to build. So definitely continue to check out the website on a regular basis and see what else is new. And if there's no other questions, you all are welcome to head out. We'll stay until 3:30 for anyone who's lingering behind and has something else to ask. We hope that you have a good day. Please let your friends know about this, and we look forward to seeing you all at another office hours.
Okay.
I think it's safe to stop it now.
Sandy, do you have any questions for us? If not, we're going to go start working on some other resources to help you all out.
Okay, I'll go.